Hello, I'm Kristen McGrath, Director of Campaign Management at Granite United Way, and this is Living United in the Granite State, a program focused on the work of Granite United Way in the areas of education, income, and health throughout the state of New Hampshire and our various partnerships and initiatives. For today's show, we'll be sharing some updates from each of our 6 regions, including events and volunteer opportunities, and a little later we'll be joined by some special guests in a Q&A session about suicide prevention. Granite United Way is a volunteer-led nonprofit organization that seeks and addresses root causes of key issues in local communities, is accountable for stewardship of resources, and is also accountable for short and long-term results. Granite United Way covers 80% of New Hampshire, but remains a local presence in our 6 regions: Southern, Merrimack County, Central, Northern New Hampshire, North Country, and the Upper Valley. Granite United Way started its campaign at the beginning of September, and our campaign cabinets are often running in an effort to help us reach our campaign goal this year of $7.9 million. We're excited to announce that we currently have 14 e-pledge campaigns running this year. E-pledge campaigns allow for Granite United Way to create a greener footprint, making the pledging process simpler for your campaign coordinators. Instead of filling out paper pledge forms, you'll file an electronic version through Granite United Way's secure database. If your company would like to switch to an e-pledge campaign next year, please contact me at kristen.mcgrath@graniteuw.org. A huge contribution to our campaign every year comes from the local businesses that support Granite United Way by hosting a workplace campaign. These businesses ask each of their employees to contribute to the Granite United Way campaign by choosing to donate a percentage of their weekly paycheck. As an incentive to participate, Granite United Way offers some great raffle prizes every year by contributing only $3 a week to your workplace campaign. That's just $156 a year, and you're entered to win some great prizes, including multiple overnight stays at some of the beautiful inns in New Hampshire, tickets to a Celtics or Bruin game, and even a cruise to Bermuda for 2 every year donated by Cruise Travel Outlet in Salem, New Hampshire. Your company doesn't offer a workplace campaign, you can still participate to win in these great incentives by giving an individual donation. This can be done online at www.graniteuw.org. Just click the Donate Now button and you will be prompted to enter your information and your donation amount. Just remember, you must give at least $156 to be entered to win the incentive prizes. If your company currently does not host an employee campaign and you think they would be interested in starting one next year, please contact me at kristen.mcgrath@graniteuw.org. Another important part of our campaign is our pace-setter companies. Pace-setter organizations lead the way building a stronger, healthier community by running their United Way fundraiser campaigns between mid-July and late September. These companies set the pace for United Way's annual campaign by building momentum for the community-wide effort to raise funds for local nonprofit human service agencies and for initiatives that advance education, income, and health. We would like to thank all of our pace-setter campaigns this year for their continued dedication in leading the way for the campaign. One of our pace-setter companies and longtime partners, McLean Law Firm, has adopted many various strategies to engage their employees this year. McLean kicked off their annual campaign on September 8th with an agency fair, and thanks to the hard work of their employee campaign coordinator, McLean employees had an opportunity to participate in multiple site visits and volunteer activities. This year, McLean had increased their overall employee giving campaign from $72,000 to $80,000. Great job, McLean. A couple weeks ago, Lincoln Financial Group held their annual booth day. Granite United Way, along with our partner agencies, were invited to host a booth at the event to share their mission and impact in the community. As usual, it had a fantastic turnout. Special thanks to Lincoln Financial Group for continuing to host this event every year. It's a great opportunity to introduce the community to all the organizations that are making a lasting impact locally. Do you run a nonprofit in one of our 6 regions? Are you looking for some extra funding this year? Consider applying for Granite United Way's qualification and grant funding process. Granite United Way is committed to partnering with local nonprofits to bring initiatives and programs to the local community. If you're interested in learning more about becoming a Granite United Way program, contact Jennifer Sabin at jennifer.sabin@graniteuw.org or at 603-224-2595, extension 231. Are you interested in becoming a first-time donor or increasing your pledge this year? 2 of our longtime donors are hosting a matching challenge in hopes of recruiting first-time or increased gifts. Loyal contributor and Alexis de Tocqueville Society member John Swope has challenged Merrimack County to support the community in a new way. For every new dollar, increased or new pledge, he's willing to match up to a total of $25,000. There are 3 easy ways that you can help us meet this match during the 2014 campaign. You can make a new pledge, increase your 2013 pledge amount, or help us engage a new donor this year. To learn more about how you can help Granite United Way leverage the John F. Swope Challenge match, you can contact me at kristen.mcgrath@graniteuw.org. Our second challenge match comes from a lifelong resident of the North Country who wishes to remain anonymous. They have offered a $10,000 challenge match to increase giving in a community that they care deeply about. What a great opportunity to provide even more support to the initiatives and programs that are really making a difference in the North Country. For more information on how you can help Granite United Way meet the North Country $10,000 challenge match, contact Scoop Welch at 603-524-6864, extension 6, or you can always email her at scoop.welch@graniteuw.org. On last month's show, we spoke with some representatives from our Bring It initiative about the positive impact the students have in the Greater Manchester School District. We're excited to announce that Bring It had another successful start to the 2014-2015 program year on September 30th, with nearly 100 students registering in the first week. Program activities are Tuesdays and Wednesday nights at Hillside Middle School from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. And for the first time in its program's history, all students who attend receive a hot meal each night. If you would like to register your child for Bring It, contact Jody Harper at jody.harper@graniteuw.org. In an effort to get the needle moving in creating healthier communities, Granite United Way has partnered with Northeast Delta Dental and Lincoln Financial Group to host an annual Run United 5K. Our inaugural 5K was held last month on September 25th at Northeast Delta Dental in Concord, and it was a huge success with over 185 participants, and all of the registration proceeds went to benefit Granite United Way. We kicked off the night with a kids' fun run, and then at 7 p.m. sharp, our runners and walkers were off with a bang. In 20 minutes, we saw our top 3 males and female runners cross the finish line. Tom Raffio, Delta Dental CEO, participated in the 5K and spoke to all the participants at the end of the night, congratulating them on their accomplishments and for setting an example for the rest of the community. Let's take a peek at a quick video that recaps the night.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural Run United 5K road race, sponsored by Northeast Delta Dental and Lincoln Financial Group. We've got a nice group of runners here tonight. We're so happy that you all signed up. Here we go. To your mark. Set. And we're off. Good luck, runners.
We really focus at Granite United Way on 3 main areas: health, income, and education. And I think this is a fantastic way to really show how we are investing in health in our community. On behalf of everyone at United Way and the communities that we serve, we just want to say a huge thank you to all of you for coming out tonight. Every dollar that you guys gave through your registration will go back to this community and will have a huge lasting impact for so many of our friends and neighbors in need.
We raised a ton of great money for the United Way. Do we want to make this an annual tradition? Yeah! All right, let's do it.
We're extremely excited to announce that this year's inaugural Run United 5K race raised over $1,500 to be used in funding programs across Granite United Way's footprint. We would like to especially thank our sponsors, Lincoln Financial Group and Northeast Delta Dental, for hosting. If you're interested in participating in next year's Run United 5K, be sure to like the Granite United Way Run United 5K Facebook page for updates and next year's registration link. You can also find photos in the recap video from this year's event there. Have you ever wanted to own a celebrity purse? Every year, Granite United Way partners with the Women's Leadership Council to host Power of the Purse, a live auction of bags of every shape, color, and size, including handbags, purses, sports bags, and wallets from celebrities and famous designers. This year's Power of the Purse was held on October 19th with over 70 women in attendance. Maggie Hassan was among the many people who donated bags with handwritten notes, as well as some local authors and Ben Lovejoy of the Anaheim Ducks. Some purchases included some extra goodies. Cape Air donated 2 round-trip tickets from Lebanon to Boston, Norwich Inn donated a dinner for 2, and Blue Sky Restaurant donated 2 gift certificates. This year, we're happy to announce that the Power of the Purse raised over $20,000, an increase from last year. All proceeds benefit Granite United Way's Women's Leadership Council that is comprised of women from around the Upper Valley. The council's mission is to improve the lives of women dealing with addiction and enhance their ability to lead productive lives and strengthen their families. Do you enjoy working with numbers? Are you looking for a way to volunteer? Granite United Way's VITA program, which stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, provides free income tax preparation for low to moderate income people and is seeking intake specialists and tax preparer volunteers for 2015. Granite United Way operates VITA sites in Manchester, Salem, Concord, Franklin, Laconia, Littleton, and White River Junction and needs your help to serve more people. Volunteers are expected to complete a standard of conduct certification and commit to 3 to 5 hours per week, every week from January until April. For more information, please contact Carrie Gladstone at carrie.gladstone@graniteuw.org, or you can contact him at 603-224-2595, extension 223. Last week at our fall leadership event, Granite United Way had an opportunity to present Commissioner George Kapadas with the Rumford Leadership Award for his dedication and tireless efforts with the New Hampshire State Employees Charitable Campaign. Congratulations, George. This award was well deserved. Our team at Granite United Way is extremely grateful for all of your hard work and dedication to the United Way campaign every year. We're going to take a short break for the message from United Way, and when we return, we're going to sit down with Stacy Elliott from the Capital Area Public Network, Elaine DeMello from Nami, New Hampshire, and Jennifer Sabin from Granite United Way to talk about Mental Health Awareness Month and the Capital Area Public Health Awareness Initiative.
One of the reasons we decided to increase our gift this year was really just to be more philanthropic and show the next generation how important it is to make that investment into the community.
United Way is important on so many levels, from the element of reaching out to employees who have an opportunity to give, no matter how small, because it puts employees in touch with organizations in need. And then the Community Impact Committee approach to allocating funds is a wonderful way to broaden community involvement by getting regular citizens involved in reviewing grants and making funding decisions.
With United Way, I've always appreciated that there's an opportunity for every company and every employee to get involved. It's nice to see employees go out in the community and be able to influence change in their community because they can give each week or with every payroll that they otherwise may not be able to get into the system.
United Way programs are critical. They were there for me when I really needed them to get new clothes for my first professional job. Now I get to give back to my community, and I volunteer on the United Way Community Impact Board.
The Business Club at Laconia High School Hewitt Technical Center has come together to promote drug awareness in our community.
We'd like to thank the Granite United Way supporters for giving us programs like the Youth Leadership.
And one of the things that I work on every campaign is trying to get the young people in our agency involved, and we've been very successful. And it is so refreshing to see that culture of giving growing within our organization.
One of the greatest things about United Way is that the money is raised locally and it stays local. We distribute that money, and the decisions about the distribution of that money are done at a local level, even though it is a statewide agency.
Thank you very much for supporting our 2014 United Way campaign. 22,000 donors and volunteers are investing in the critical areas of education, income, and health to improve the lives of individuals, families, and communities all across the states of New Hampshire and Vermont. Thank you very much for all that you do.
Join us and support Granite United Way.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for Living United in the Granite State. Mental Health Awareness Week was October 5th through October 11th, and today's Q&A session will focus on the ways in which Granite United Way and our partners are helping to move the needle on mental health awareness in our communities. With me today are three very special guests: Jennifer Savin, the Suicide Prevention Coordinator of Capital Area Public Health Network at Granite United Way; Stacy Elliott from the Capital Area Suicide Prevention Committee; and Elaine DeMello, the Supervisor of Training and Suicide Prevention Services at Nami New Hampshire. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Jennifer, I'll start with you. Can you just talk a little bit about Granite United Way's involvement with the suicide prevention in the Capital Region?
Sure. So the Capital Area Public Health Network is one of New Hampshire's 13 regional public health networks. We're involved in broad-based public health issues like substance misuse, prevention, emergency preparedness, and more recently, suicide prevention. We're a collaborative working to improve public health and prevention-related services within the region. We engage various community stakeholders in our work, including local social services, fire, police, emergency medical services, schools, leaders in the business, government, and faith communities to work together to address complex public health issues. Since the beginning of 2014, we've been working in partnership with Nami New Hampshire and 2 other regional public health networks to build community capacity to prevent suicide through training, awareness building, and strategic community planning. I want to mention, though, that sometimes conversations like this can be difficult for people, so if anyone watching becomes uncomfortable, they should make sure to take care of themselves.
It's a very important point. Thank you, Jennifer. How long have you been personally involved?
I've been involved since February of this year.
Great. Well, we're very lucky to have you.
Thank you.
So, Stacy, can you tell us a little bit about the Capital Area Suicide Prevention Committee and your role?
Sure. Our committee is based on those things that Jennifer had mentioned: the emergency services, schools, social services, faith-based. We even have concerned community members. We are trying to build our capacity by using the Connect training, or Train the Trainer, where we can eventually go to a second generation and train outside other schools or organizations that want that training. We also are identifying gaps within the community as far as the 10 to 24-year-olds that are at risk. Mm-hmm. It is the second leading cause of New Hampshire deaths in New Hampshire for that age group.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And how did you first become involved with the committee?
I became involved because I volunteer for the Medical Reserve Corps.
Okay.
And I became in April.
Great. Well, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
And Elaine, can you just talk a little bit about your role at Nami New Hampshire and just a little bit about what Nami is and what they do?
Sure. So NAMI stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness, and Nami New Hampshire is the state chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness here in New Hampshire, of course. And generally, NAMI around the country provides support and education to people who are struggling with mental illness and their families to help improve their quality of life. And it'll do a lot of public education and advocacy, again, to try to improve quality of life for those living with mental illness. Nami New Hampshire has been very involved also in suicide prevention and postvention, which is what to do after a suicide occurs, by, again, providing education, technical assistance, training, and support to those affected by it, but also to work together to create communities that are prepared and able to respond when someone might be at risk or in the tragic event that someone dies by suicide. So my role is to oversee the suicide prevention programs through NAMI New Hampshire, and that includes overseeing a statewide suicide prevention grant, which we are just entering the second year of. And that grant is focused on, it's a federal grant focused on youth age 24 and younger. And one of the goals and large part of the grant is to help build capacity in regions around New Hampshire by, again, doing training, many of the things you heard Stacy and Jennifer talk about, building capacity, strategic planning, providing technical assistance, and helping to bring best practices for suicide prevention and postvention through these regions. The Capital Area Public Health Network is one of the partners that we're working with, and they were written into the grant very selectively because of their comprehensive work, as you heard mentioned, the many different sectors of the community that they work with, and because of a track record of very progressive work in prevention. So they're a strong partner in helping us reach out to people who can support and provide assistance to those at risk for suicide, particularly those who are 24 and under.
Well, it sounds like a great partnership. How long has that partnership been in existence?
Well, we've started the grant a year ago, so we're in the second year of that grant, and we've worked with Granite United Way and the Capital Area Public Health Network on other projects, but nothing quite as extensively as this, and we're very excited to be doing that.
That's wonderful. It does. It sounds like a perfect partnership.
It
and
is.
Can you just share a little bit about how long you've been with NAMI and what kind of drew you to work there?
Yeah. I've been at NAMI for about 15 years now, and I've always had an interest in mental health, and I have a background working in the mental health field. What I love about working for NAMI New Hampshire is it's really not a job, it's a mission, and it really is a lot of people who are very passionate about what they do. Many of the people that I work with have been touched by mental illness and or suicide, and it feels like a family that's working together on a really important role together with other partners throughout the state.
Absolutely. And as a social worker myself, NAMI is an organization that I'm very familiar with. They do incredible work. Suicide is a pretty heavy topic and something that I don't think a lot of our viewers may know a ton about. Jennifer, could you share a little bit about some of the risk factors and things that the general public should be aware of?
Sure. Risk factors are a very important element of suicide prevention. However, it is important to note that someone could experience a whole host of risk factors and never be suicidal. Each person and community is unique, but studies have shown that factors do exist that put individuals at a higher risk. So some of those risk factors include military experience, being a member of a minority or a refugee population, being LGBTQ, having a previous hospitalization or some involvement with the legal system, being a survivor of suicide loss or an attempt survivor. Any combination of those things have the potential to put someone at increased risk.
Absolutely. Those are good things to know about. And I think another important piece are those warning signs. So I don't know, Stacey, if you can share a little bit about what are some of the warning signs and where can someone turn if they're concerned about either, themselves or someone else?
Sure. Warning signs include like if they're threatening or wanting to hurt themselves or another, looking for ways to kill themselves, perhaps on the internet, looking up ideas. They're talking about it, they're writing about it, they're mentioning it to their friends, they're feeling hopeless and down, they're feeling rage, they look like they're out of control, trapped, they're withdrawing from society, they're disinterested in everyday things. They could not be taking a shower or just not wanting to get out of bed.
Absolutely. Those are all important signs. And Elaine, can you just speak to where someone can go if they're experiencing some of those warning signs, or if someone notices someone else that's experiencing some of those warning signs?
Yeah. Well, the 1-800-273-8255 number is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and that's available 24/7. Not only in New Hampshire, but anywhere around the country. Okay. If you do call it here in New Hampshire, it does ring at a call center called Headrest up in Lebanon, so you are getting a local response. But if you have concerns about any of these signs that Stacy just mentioned, by all means, if you are the friend or family member or associate with the person, speak with them directly. Ask them how they're feeling. You will not put an idea in their head if you're concerned that they're suicidal, so ask them, are you thinking of killing yourself? And then if the answer is yes, or you're still concerned, do not leave them alone. Keep them away from anything that might harm them, like firearms or vehicles or pills or anything like that, and call for help, which could be the emergency room, it could be your community mental health center, it could be that National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number, or call the police and 911 if it's urgent and you think it needs immediate attention. If you wanted to just find out more about suicide prevention or mental illness, which mental illness and substance use can be very high risk factors for someone, not necessarily causing someone to be suicidal, but high risk factors. There's a lot of good information on national websites as well as Nami New Hampshire or the Connect program website where people can get more information. And there's also support groups available for people who are either have had a loss to suicide. There's specialized support groups for them. There's also support groups for families of people who have a loved one with mental illness so that they can understand and support that person to keep them safe.
Great. So it does sound like there are quite a few resources that are out there and available. It's just making sure that we make everyone aware of all those different resources. I know that both through the network and through NAMI, there's a lot of training opportunities. Stacey, I don't know if you can speak a little bit about some of the training that you've been through and the benefits that that's had.
Sure. I've been through the Connect Train the Trainer. I've had on 2 occasions been able to use that. One was a family that just suffered a loss and they had concerns. They didn't know really where to go. And it was just connecting with that family and, and making the connections and giving them the resources of where to go. And, that way they made them more comfortable as far as reaching out to them. And then the other one was someone that I saw on something that I saw on Facebook, and it was a person that was in need, and I reached out. Actually, I knew this person. I reached out to the family. The family really didn't have a clue that this person was in need and posting such hopeless messages, and so they approached that person, and it was resolved that way. So that was a good outcome to do.
That's wonderful. So for anyone who wants to get involved with either suicide prevention or other public health related issues, what's the best place or where should they go?
They can contact me directly at jennifer.sabin@graniteuw.org. If you're interested in general public health issues, you could also contact Shannon Breesaw. She has a more specialty with the substance misuse prevention work that we do there. You could contact NAMI directly. There's a lot of different resources out there depending on what you're interested in.
Great. So there are ways for people in the community to get involved and to be more active in this effort. Elaine, I don't know if you can just speak a little bit about some of NAMI's overarching goals and kind of what your personal goals are for suicide prevention in the future.
Our goals, I think, would ultimately to see that we no longer see people taking their lives, of course, ultimately. The vision we have for this project is that we'd be able to accomplish a goal like that by creating an entire state of people who are not only caring but knowledgeable and know where to turn and where to get help and how to rely on each other if it's a system. It's many of those people that Jennifer referenced. What do the police do, and do they know who to turn to when they have somebody at risk? What does the mental health center do? What does the coach on the baseball field do? What does the teacher in the school do? It's just the faith leader in the church when they know somebody's at risk. Just having the knowledge and the protocols and the best practices to say, I do know where to turn, I do know who to call, and making that system happen. And I have to say that as we've been rolling out the training and providing technical assistance, as Stacy mentioned, we see that happen. We see much more likelihood that people will come forward, ask for help, or get help for others and get them to the right place.
Great. Well, it does. It sounds like you guys are on the right track, and I look forward to see all the great work that you do moving forward. As we talked earlier, this is a really sensitive subject. And Jennifer, I don't know if you have any last words you want to just share with our viewers today.
Yeah, I'd like to emphasize that if anyone watching or someone that you know is struggling with mental illness or thoughts of suicide, that you're not alone. 1 in 4 adults and 1 in 10 children in the U.S. have a diagnosed mental illness. Over 1.1 million people called that suicide helpline last year that Elaine mentioned. So really reach out. Resources are available and treatment works.
Great.
And if you've had a loss to suicide, there is also, again, a lot of support in New Hampshire. So please feel free to check the Nami New Hampshire website or contact us, and we can provide some outreach or direction to support groups and other resources that may be helpful to someone in the healing process.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for joining me today, and thank you for the great work that you're doing here in the community. And all of you at home, thank you so much for tuning in.